Well, hello, Notre Dame fans. How's everyone doing? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you are tuning into this show, whether it's live with us on YouTube, watching back, or listening to the podcast version of this. Hope that you are doing well, and we just appreciate you making us part of your day here. I'm Mike Singer, recruiting insider, I believe, is the title I gave myself a while back, and I am joined by Kyle Kelly. And Kyle, I honestly don't know what your official title is, but Kyle is my sidekick in covering Notre Dame football recruiting. It does a fantastic job reporting on news at blueandgold.com. How is everyone today? I see Ian C's in the chat. What's going on, friend? Greg, Devin, Lotus. How is everyone doing? Yeah, this is our recruiting show. So we're going to talk about high school recruiting. We'll talk a little bit transfer portal, but in terms of the speculation and whatnot, we're not going to do a whole lot of that on this show. But yeah, in terms of like portal targets, nothing really to talk about at this point. But trust me, I'm working on reporting on some of these things at blueandgold.com. So Kyle, how are you doing, man? How are you enjoying your first silly season of blueandgold.com?
As good as I can be. I think I forgot since I covered this recruiting or this silly season stuff with rivals last year. I kind of forgot like how crazy it's and it's like year it's getting increasingly crazier. I guess the one benefit is we don't have Peyton Bowen to deal with this year. I think for the most part, a lot of these guys in the 24 recruiting class are pretty solid, all planning on signing in December. So that takes one brick off our shoulders, but one brick off another 20 on with
Kyle,
all this transfer portal stuff. So
can you please knock on some wood real quick, bro? Like, what?
I don't know, man. We've been checking in with kid over the last couple of days, and I think there is some reason for some concern about what's going on in South Bend these days, but some
Why?
important coaching visits coming up.
Why is there reason for concern?
I just think that
Well, wait, time out. You just said that you think they're solid, but now you're saying there's reason for concern?
well, I think some recruits are just like, just like keep an eye on what things are, how things are happening. But
Yeah.
like, I think people fail to realize that while Notre Dame is having a mass exodus of players, that's happening at every other school in the country. So, I think it's just normal thoughts, So,
Yeah.
but overall I feel pretty optimistic about where Notre Dame's 24 class will end up here in about 3 weeks.
Yeah, if I'm a receiver, I am like, okay, what is going on? Like,
Exactly.
coach just got fired. Half the room's left. They have like four healthy scholarship receivers, two of them former walk-ons. Like, what the hell's going on? But yeah,
It's
fun,
basically what I was trying to say.
yeah, fun
Some
times.
guys are just,
But
huh,
like, yeah, I think there's like, what is going on? I want to know what the inside info is here. But yeah, I mean, we'll talk about the coaches on the road because the staff is hitting the road. They're seeing two of their three receiver commits today. Well, actually, I already saw one today as Kyle posted out on Twitter. But before we dive into today's show, folks, please do hit the thumbs up on this video. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, of course, for more content. If you are new here, if you're listening via podcast, appreciate you as well. Please leave us a kind review if you like the show on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you listen to this. And would always encourage folks listening via podcast to check us out on YouTube. We post a lot of good stuff on our YouTube channel, a lot of which does not go to our podcast channel. So please check that out. Today's show is sponsored by Prize Picks. A lot of fun. I might be not winning as much, but I am still having fun in the process here lately. So basically, you pick a couple players, and if they will go more or less than their Prize Picks projections, and you can do a power play where the payout is bigger, or the flex play, which you only need 2 out of 3 correct to still win you some money. So yeah, it's a really cool website that I've had so much fun talking to my friends about different entries that we're doing, and it helps me enjoy NFL football, just watching NFL even much more. But it's more than just the NFL. You got NBA, NHL, college football, PGA, I mean, MMA, tennis, soccer. I mean, really across the board. Get some video games in there as well. So it is a ton of fun. And it gets even better because when you use the promo code BGI, you will receive 100% instant deposit match up to $100. So you put in 50, they'll give you 50. You put in 100, they'll give you 100. So yeah, please check it out. prizepicks.com. So I'm not doing, Kyle, any entries on this show. So Jared Goff, Desmond Ritter, Tim Boyle, sorry. Because I am waiting for Flex Friday. We moved this show from Thursday to Friday, and on Friday they have a promotion called Flex Friday, where you basically get a free $20 entry, and if you don't hit, then you get your money back. But if you do, then good job. Yeah, I haven't been crushing it on my entries lately, but this one stung last week. There have been some stingers, but we're having fun with it. My Thanksgiving entry with Jordan Love, I just needed him to have one more pass attempt, and he did not. That one stung, but again, having a lot of fun. Throat's struggling. I'm struggling right now in the process. So please, prizepicks.com if you're interested. Promo code BGI. All right, Kyle. So yeah, we're gonna start with coaches on the road, my friend. And as I clear my throat, I'm going to let you talk about your tweet that you fired out. So the coach is, I feel like I need to add this kind of bit of context. When there's the spring evaluation period and the coaches hit the road during the bye week, that is the it's like a evaluation period. I think it's called. Yeah. And that is the bump rule, right? College coaches can't really have sit down, in-depth conversations. But now we're in the contact period. So if you're a high school senior, you can have this coaches can come by your school, they can go to your home. Let me read the definition of the contact period. It is a period of time when it is permissible for authorized athletics department staff members to make in-person, off-campus recruiting contacts and evaluations. So that's why you have a picture here of Chad Bowden and everyone's favorite coach, Jared Parker, with 5-star receiver Notre Dame commit Cam Williams. Kyle?
Yeah, this was a important one this morning. I think that we spoke to Cam Williams right after Chancey Stuckey's dismissal from Notre Dame earlier this week on Tuesday. Cam right away reaffirmed his pledge to Notre Dame, but I think naturally, like the case is with a lot of guys across the country, guys are just keeping an eye on what things, how things are happening. So no surprise to see arguably the two of the most important members on Notre Dame's coaching staff right now, outside of, of course, Marcus Freeman, who's in Charlotte today, stopped by Glenbard South and Glen Ellen, Illinois to check in with Cam Williams. Start to, kind of outline their plan, I would imagine, of what the direction of Notre Dame's wide receiver room, who's going to be leading it, and everything with that matter. So very important visit happening in the Chicago area this morning. Obviously, the Notre Dame staff made a priority. If I'm not mistaken, that could have been like one of their first visits overall this morning. So those guys getting out there to check in with Cam, and this is a guy they got to keep solid, get him signed in December. I've wrote extensively about him on Blue and Gold over the last couple of weeks about how he's going to be Notre Dame's, if he maintains his On3 industry ranking or On3 rating of 5-star, he'll be the first one since Michael Floyd in 2008. So I know Jordan Johnson's in there. He wasn't a industry ranking 5-star though, but Cam Williams is, and I think that you and I feel, maybe me a little bit better than you, I feel pretty good that he'll be a 5-star after the All-American Bowl in San Antonio. Pretty good chance for him to solidify that. Never know. They do like to bring those guys up there. Some under the radar guys are not even skyrocketing them. I know there was a guy from Mississippi last year. I forget his name.
Yeah,
Came a 5-star late in the process. But anyway, Cam Williams, a very elite wide receiver recruit for Notre Dame.
Yeah, the thing is, like, it's like he could go out and ball, but then like he just can't predict what the rankings these people are gonna do. So I mean, I don't know. Like
He's a 5-star.
I thought Angeli was the best quarterback at the Under Armour All American Bowl week, and like he didn't get bumped. No one bumped him at all. I was just like, so I don't know. I really don't know, Cam. I don't know on Cam. So we'll see.
Real
I mean,
quick, Mike,
I always warn people to never try to predict what's going to happen with rankings. So I'll be there all week and I'll tell you guys what I think. But yeah, and I don't think I've met Cam yet, believe it or not. Just kind of
I
shocking.
just want to clarify real quick. I mentioned that guy from Mississippi. It was Suntrain Perkins. He was like, I don't know, like a 4-star guy, normal guy, and then he went to all these, or like they do that Alabama versus Mississippi bowl game, or like he was an All-American Bowl or game guy as well, and now he's a 5-star plus guy, which means he was a 5-star recruit by every primary recruiting media service. So there are guys like that will skyrocket in the rankings. That's why like On3 basically has like about 11 or so guys that aren't 5-stars yet because they're giving themselves some wiggle room to add some new guys in there. So we'll see if Cam can hold on.
You want to give me 30 seconds on Justin Scott? How about Justin Scott, 5-star defense lineman, flipping from Ohio State to Miami? He committed to Ohio State out of the blue over the summer, I believe, and then just flips to Miami. I know you covered that recruitment pretty closely. What are your thoughts on that one for the former Notre Dame target?
I'll just say this. I felt like I had a pretty good relationship with Justin Scott during his recruitment. I saw him on multiple occasions. Also, I pressed him pretty hard on several occasions about the implications of NIL and pay for play, everything like that. Never got the idea that Justin was someone that was prioritizing the NIL opportunities in his recruitment. But when you see a kid from Chicago leave the Midwest, where he more or less is a homebody, to go play for the Hurricanes, I guess first we'll say Mario Cristobal and his staff do an outstanding job in recruiting, but kind of makes you wonder what else is in play.
Do we need to talk about the Benjamins in his graphic?
We got to have Hayes Fawcett on this show, man. Give us some context in that graphic. Not that we need much, but
I would love to have Hayes Fawcett on the show. Are you kidding me? People are talking about the bowl game in the YouTube chat. Rick Palmer said, "I hope we don't go against LSU now. Would like to have a chance to win that game." What you think LSU is not going to have players leave or opt out too? You think Jaden Daniels is going to play in that game?
These bowl games are going to look ridiculous. Like it's like they're scrimmages for the 24 season. Like it's just like you're putting guys out there that haven't played in big spots all year. It'll be interesting.
I have a little bit of a time crunch this afternoon, but I do want to throw up one of those for what it's worth posts. And one of those is about like practice yesterday because Notre Dame had its first bowl practice. I think it was his first bowl practice on Thursday. I think Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday was more like just meetings and stuff. So they practiced Thursday. Coaches are on the road today, and they practice again tomorrow. And the offense, let's just say it looked a little bit different than normal. Wild times. Bowl games, just totally whatever now. So
people still watch and people still bet on them. So that's all everyone needs to know.
Yeah. So other coaches on the road, we had this report at blueandgold.com. You can check it out. It was up this morning. Marcus Freeman. Okay, so we talked about Jared Parker and Chad Bowden hit the road to Chicago, and then I'm sure they're tailing to get back to South Bend probably as we record this. So Parker and Bowden are then getting on, I'm guessing, the private jet with Freeman, defensive coordinator Al Golden, and defensive line coach Al Washington they're heading down to Charlotte to see Notre Dame's 3 commits there. You got tight end Jack Larson, pass rusher Bryce Young, and receiver Micah Gilbert. Now, I've been doing this for a long time, I have never heard of a joint home visit. So I was told that the Jack Larson and his family, Bryce Young and his family, and Micah Gilbert and his family are having their home visit all at the Young household, which is really
That is
cool. That's just
awesome.
gonna have
That is
to be a
awesome.
fly on the wall, like what that looks like. I would just love to know. Is it like you have a couple coaches over here talking with Gilbert and his family for a little bit? Hey, let's talk about this receiver drama, and then yeah, and then they all kind of come together and eat dinner at a big like I don't know. I would love to know.
Dude, all I'm
So
gonna say, not a bad thing to have Bryant Young there today, the former Notre Dame player, Pro Football Hall of Famer, with everything going on at the wide receiver room. Not that he could really do much as a, I guess, former defensive lineman, but a good advocate for Notre Dame to have Micah Gilbert's here, even though we expect him.
yeah, I am guessing. You said use the word advocate. I'm guessing Brian Young's not super big. Like, oh, you need to go. And I know that's not what you're saying, but like, I from what I know about Brian Young, he's going to be kind of neutral on it. But like, he took Bryce to a lot of different. I mean, they visited a lot of different schools. But I will say on the whole receiver thing, like, I'm you would rather this happen in a week and let's just get it all out. Just if we're gonna overhaul, if this receiver room is gonna look a lot different, there's gonna be a lot of crazy drama. Just get it done in 7 days, and then let the other 51 weeks of the year be okay. If that makes sense. Like I'm just glad we don't hear about this crap all the or like this isn't happening all the year long. And you know, I've made my thoughts on this pretty clear on I think our live shows and the blueandgold.com message board that I think that some of the narratives out there about Chancey Stuckey and how evil he is, I think they're ridiculous. Um, so I think that there were some people who were unhappy in that room, and there were some people that were happy. But to think that that's some like specific thing about Stuckey and that doesn't happen in every single room. If you're not playing and you think you're the shit, you're probably not happy. I mean, is that rocket science, people? I don't know. But Kyle, I'm going to continue for the sake of time. So quarterbacks coach Gino Guidugli going to head over to the Ann Arbor area, home visit with CJ Carr, Notre Dame's quarterback commit. And we've kind of been silent on this, Kyle, and I'm kind of over it. But I'm not going to get into that. Carr is expected to enroll at Notre Dame for bowl practices. I don't know exactly how that works because I've never covered a school that did this, but yeah, CJ Carr is expected to participate in bowl practices at Notre Dame in December. So we haven't like officially reported that yet, but I'm kind of tired of sitting quiet on it, so we're just gonna throw that out there because I think it's been out there for weeks at this point. But again, not really gonna dive into that. Dylan McCullough, sneaky big important visit. Aeneas Williams from Hannibal, Missouri. Missouri, like the Missouri Tigers are really trying to flip Aeneas. Like that's not really been talked about too much, but McCullough going out there, I think that's pretty. That's big. So that should be a good home visit. And I will hopefully be talking to Aeneas after that one wraps up for storyblueandgold.com. It's going to be a busy weekend, Kyle. Cornerbacks coach Mike Mickens heading down to his stomping grounds of Cincinnati, just the greater Cincinnati area. Checking in with cornerback commits Carson Hobbs from Archbishop Moeller, and then Tabron Benny Powell, the safety from Lakota West in Westchester, Ohio. Joe Rudolph heading down to Indianapolis, going to visit with Styles Prescott, and he will also stop by the high schools. So the 2024 contact period is, you know, like we talked about, you can have the home visits, the off-campus contact, and whatnot. It's still the bump rule for the 2025 recruits, but Rudolph will be stopping in at the high schools of class of 2025 four-star quarterback Mark Zachary, and another 25 key four-star prospect is defensive end Damian Shanklin, and then Marty Biaggi is headed to Hawaii. Man,
Guys got it tough, man.
yeah. Special teams coordinator at Notre Dame's a great job. How about this? Ian with a $5 super chat says, not related to recruiting, Kyle. Have you eaten at the original Off Central? best breakfast in Toledo? What's the head count on early enrollee? So, Kyle, do you want to answer the first part of his question?
Well, yeah, if you can clarify in the chat, I don't know if the original of Central. I know there's an original pancake house in the Sylvania area, but I don't know if that's technically off Central Avenue. I've been there a couple times, so if you could clarify that in the chat. But I will say my two favorite breakfast places in Toledo. If Ian, if you've been there, please let me know. And if we have any fellow, yep, okay, original pancake house. It is outstanding. I think that is top three. I'll check with my fellow Toledoans. Yep, there we go. It is a chain though, which is kind of disappointing. But yeah, so there's a couple original pancake houses around the country. But anyway, my two other favorite breakfast spots in Northwest Ohio, Briarfield Cafe in Maumee, down the road from my house. Outstanding breakfast there, and then also in Sylvania, the Classic Cafe. It is off McCord there. So if you've been there, big advocate of both those places. Love the original pancake house though. And now I'm forgetting the second part of that question, Mike. Pop that baby back up.
Yeah, the early enrollee is 15.
Yeah,
And
that's crazy.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that breaks a record. That was 14 in the 2021 class. Let me pull up my list real quick. 15. CJ Carr, Kenny Durlocker, Cole Mullins, Kane Williams, Logan Thomas, Aeneas Williams, Micah Gilbert, Bryce Young, Anthony Knapp, Peter Jones, Jack Larson, Keedron Youngs, Sean Sevillano, Kingston Viliamiwasa, Styles Prescott. So there you go. And in terms of that being a record, Notre Dame had 14 in the 2021 class, 12 2022, and 12 in 2023. So 15 is quite a good bit. So ENC, thank you. My personal best breakfast spot is in the state of Ohio is Skyline Chili. Just like give me Skyline Chili any day of the week.
Jesus Christ. Oh
Hey, man. Take it easy there.
Oh boy.
Take it easy. I don't think it's open for breakfast, but
God, I hope not.
Oh, imagine what that would do to you if you have that for breakfast all the time. Okay. So yeah, that's the coaches on the road. Staff will be back on Saturday. I'm guessing not Biaggi. Guessing Biaggi will probably I don't know.
What's up, baby?
I don't know. I guess the special teams aren't getting much coaching this weekend. I don't know, but there is practice on Saturday, so the staff will be back for that. So yeah, let's hear from my perfect franchise. So I have a question for you folks. Are you a displaced corporate executive? Are you wanting to put your career in your own hands? Are you an experienced entrepreneur wanting to diversify? Well, if you're answering yes to any of those questions, you're going to want to give my boy Andy Ludicky a call. Andy's a huge college sports friend and a franchise veteran, having owned multiple franchises and businesses. Using his expertise, Andy's going to help others find their American dream through a very thorough consultation and evaluation process. So give Andy a call. Put your life and career in your own hands. And best of all, his services are 100% free to use. So what do you have to lose? Find your perfect franchise at myperfectfranchise.net. Call Andy Ludicky, 404-973-9901, myperfectfranchise.net. Check them out today. All right, Kyle, what's up? So yeah, someone just talking in the chat. Skyline Chili, yes. I'm not saying I'm going to have it a lot because I think it would get gross, but
gross anytime.
It's a good like once a year kind of thing. There's a Skyline Chili location. I pray that it is not closed down in Clearwater, Florida, where I grew up, and I went there all the time. And then so I try to go there whenever I go see family, and then whenever I'm in the state of Ohio, which I don't really go there anymore since we hired Kyle. Why would I go to Ohio if Kyle lives there? It's not really cost effective. So yeah. I don't get to eat there much, but it is great food. Yeah, someone was just talking about Ivan Taylor. Listen, I feel like we would be, bad at our jobs if we didn't talk about this. So it is currently 10:56 a.m. Eastern time. He is coming off the board at 2:30 p.m. Eastern time. So Winter Garden, Florida, West Orange safety, high school junior. So he's in the 2025 class, highly ranked player, top 100 overall prospect. ESPN in 24/7 view him as a borderline 5-star prospect at this point. On 3 and Rivals, I mean, still rank him pretty high, but not as high as those programs, or excuse me, those websites. On 3's ranking 172 nationally, number 15 safety. So the entry ranking just inside the top 100 and number 10 safety in the country. So projected him to Notre Dame back in Singer. And Kyle, I know you did really after you heard my conversation with him when you were after the Pitt game. Yeah, that was right. I interviewed him in the car, right? You were dropping me off at my place I was staying that night, and you got to hear that interview. So you got to hear Mike Singer at work. Just a phenomenal interviewer, I'm sure.
Not bad.
But yeah, what are your thoughts here? We're not going to spend a whole lot of time on this, but yeah, I think Notre Dame's got a pretty good shot. Florida State, Tennessee, Wisconsin, the other schools here.
Boy, if Notre Dame went down to Florida to pick this guy up out of the South, what a recruiting victory that would be for Notre Dame. And I'd just like folks to take a look at that On3 recruiting prediction machine, giving Notre Dame a 99% chance at landing them.
It's bold.
A lot of that percentage comes from yours and I's predictions. I know On3 national writer Sam Spiegelman followed us with a prediction earlier this week as well. So this one looks like Notre Dame, unless something crazy happens at the last minute, and never count out recruiting these days. Yeah. But I'm feeling pretty good about Ivan Taylor ending up Irish by the end of the day.
Yeah. Yeah. So Ivan Taylor, son of Ike Taylor, 2-time champion, with the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think that would be a good pickup for the Irish. We will track that at blueandgold.com. So follow me on Twitter at Mike T. Singer, and follow Kyle at Mike T. Singer. And I'm kidding, at by Kyle Kelly. And of course, BGI News on Twitter. I will not call it X. Don't care. Unless it gets to a point where if like, no, I'm just going to keep calling it Twitter, and I don't care. Moving along, Kyle. So of how many transfer portal entries have there been, or entry/declared? What, we got like 6, 7?
Dude, something tells me 8, but I don't know for sure. So there's Aiden K, Ramon Henderson, Tobias, Braylon James, Nana Osafo-Mensah. So that's 5. Tyree will make 6. Maybe
Zeke,
it is 6, actually.
Zeke 7.
Zeke 7. So I think that's a quarterback, no. Running back, no. Wide receiver, we talked about. Tight end, no. Offensive line, Corral. Defensive line, Nana and Aiden. Linebacker, no. Corner, safety.
So yeah, 7.
So, yep, 7. And let's just be honest, we're expecting more. Last year there was about a dozen. So, I mean, this is college football now. I mean, you're going to see 20 guys enter the portal every year. And I guess the more guys that enter the portal, the more options there are for Notre Dame to fill the roster. But that is college football, man. Guys are going to move on. Guys are going to come and go. And we have the luxury of covering it all.
All right, listen, guys, in the chat, talking about stays Enrico. If Holden stays, Enrico Flores declare that they're transferring, then they would be 8 and 9. But they haven't posted anything. I don't know what you want me to say. So stop asking.
Keep an eye on things, man.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on things. That was the Nick Saban line, by the way.
30 guys on this roster that we're keeping tabs on. So
yeah. So do you think there's much of a recruiting fallout to this, Kyle?
Dude, so the thing, I kind of put this on the message board, is like Notre Dame's got to fill their roster somehow, but there's only so many high school prospects to go around. Like, you know, so I think the main point is here that the more guys that enter the portal, the more guys there will be available to fill the roster with. But Notre Dame is still a little bit handcuffed with. It's not like they can add every single guy that enters the portal. I mean, they're pretty limited to grad transfer first year guys, and then for the sophomore, juniors, and seniors, it's usually the guys that come from the high academic uh, institutions. See Brandon Joseph from Northwestern and Riley Leonard from Duke if that comes together. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, this is just the way it is now. I mean, Notre Dame's got a great staff. Butler Benton, director of player personnel, I think is his primary title. Matt Jensen, a guy they got from West Virginia who does a lot of scouting, and I can assure you that Notre Dame is probably as ahead of it as they can. I know I just behind the scenes hearing a few things that process in the past that these guys are really evaluating a lot of guys. It's like just kind of the way it works, to be honest, is this is the way it is in the NFL. Now, granted, there's only 31 other opposing teams, but in the NFL, they have guys that are, pro scouts, and they evaluate other teams and scout the other teams for players that could be additions or rosters. And that's the way it's coming in college football. Although there is about 130 teams to scout after, but that's just the way it is now.
Yeah. Yeah. That was good. That was good stuff, Kyle. Didn't really answer my question, but it was good. Recruiting fallout. No, I don't.
There it really isn't many. Like, what is Notre Dame's at the point right now where we have been tracking this for the last 3 months? Like, everyone keeps wondering, are they going to flip anyone? Are there more guys to target in the class? Like, there really isn't. Like, if there was, I mean, we would have heard some by now. Like last year at this time, we were hearing, Chad Bowden and was in Virginia to check out Brandon Hillman, and
it's Chris Tarek, I think, had committed to
right? Chancey Stuckey was keeping an eye on KK Smith. Like, we haven't heard that. Like, Notre Dame feels really good about their 24 class. I'm sure there's guys behind the scenes that they're just going to throw darts at because you have to do it. But I'm not expecting much else. 24.
I agree. Now, as of now, I think Notre Dame signs all their guys, but let's say, knock on wood, one of those assistant coaches leaves or God knows what with Freeman. You can't really, I don't know what to expect with him.
He's a bulldog, man.
He's a bulldog. You like that word?
Bulldog behind the scenes. I mean, it's true, like, because
I
Freeman
wanted to use cutthroat, honestly, but I thought bulldog might be cutthroat might have been a little too strong. Bulldog might have fit better, but yeah, dude. So who knows? There's that who knows factor of like, what if some coach just leaves or something, and then his class is open season and Notre Dame's like, yes, we want that guy. So there's silly season that could impact that, but I really think from here on out, it's more about transfer additions. Yeah. Yes, I'm just gonna leave it at that. It's more about transfer additions at this point than adding any more high school players, but that still could happen.
Got to keep your guys solid, man. That's
a huge priority for the Notre Dame staff. I'm seeing gray hairs on my head right now, and I'm not loving that. But
so we see do that to you.
Yeah. So yeah. Hit that thumbs up, folks, if you're not done so yet. Of course, subscribe to the channel, content, yada, yada. You guys all know that. But we're going to hear from our one heck of a sponsor here with Home Field. It is a fantastic collegiate clothing line. I believe that's collegiate clothing line. It's Home Field Apparel, based out of Indianapolis, and they are committed to creating officially licensed comfortable clothing and fantastic Notre Dame designs. I mean, I just had a recruit parent text me the other day, be like, hey, what was your promo code for Home Field? Because their stuff does look awesome. And the designs really are fantastic. During my Wednesday night show with Tim, and then Goolsby popped in for, how about that show, by the way, folks? I was wearing my Notre Dame Fighting Irish tennis crew neck. I absolutely love wearing that thing. And I actually get compliments on it all the time when I wear it out. So authentic stuff, shows some nostalgia of that Notre Dame University, the University of Notre Dame that you love so much. And I can't wait to see you guys all wearing your Home Field shirts around Notre Dame Stadium. So they actually have licenses to over 150 colleges. So buy yourself something, buy something for the Notre Dame fan in your life, and then get yourself something as well. And use the promo code BlueGold23 to get 15% off your first order. So check it out these are new. I haven't even seen some of these, I feel like. Um, so yeah, check it out. Homefieldapparel.com. Use the promo code BlueGold23. So there you go, folks.
Great Christmas gifts there.
Great Christmas gifts. Yes. Use our promo code, folks. Or I believe, use our promo code. Actually, free ship Friday as well. You can use promo code free ship today, Friday only. I don't know which one is the better deal for you, but yeah, please check out homefieldapparel.com. Get some Notre Dame gear. All right, Kyle. So I was out on the road this past Friday, and I saw a couple of recruits of interest for Notre Dame fans. First, Justin Thurman, Tampa Jesuit, 4-star prospect according to the On3 industry ranking. He is in the 2025 class. Pretty interesting prospect, and this was a really good game to watch. Jesuit just choked this game away. It was like shocking. They were up, it's 24-10 in the fourth quarter, and just couldn't get anything offensively going in the last quarter of the game. It's playoff action. This was the state quarterfinals, and it was kind of a frustrating game to watch because the team there playing Gaither, they're yelling at the coaches are cussing out the players cussing out the coaches. Gaither got called for penalties every third play because they're just so extremely undisciplined. Like, I can't believe that Jesuit lost that game. But with Justin Thurman, he looked really good. I'll read you guys his stats once we take this off the screen. But he only had 11 rushing attempts, kind of a pass-happy offense. In large part due to Gaither just surrounding the box. I mean, they really just put 8 guys there to stop the run at all times, and just said, "Hey, Jesuit, beat us deep." And Jesuit did at times, but not enough. Thurman though did look good. I mean, you see his touchdown run here. Okay, so this is Justin Thurman, 2025 running back commit. Wait for it. Mike Singer's about to zoom in. And then he shoots his boy a thumbs up. I love that. I thought that was so funny. Justin Thurman shooting me a thumbs up. Very subtle. So it was a frustrating game to watch. But it was as like a neutral, it was good. But Thurman looked really good. The speed is fantastic. Home run hitter. It just wasn't the best game for him to like showcase between the tackles because Gaither just loaded up the box so much. But overall, a pretty impressive running back. He actually kind of reminds me of Jeremiah Love. Like the size, they're both pretty tall for running backs. Lean but not skinny, if that makes sense. And just the speed, get these guys to the outside, make some big plays. I think Notre Dame's got a pretty good one in Justin Thurman. Thurman's from St. Louis and knew Jeremiah Love growing up and everything, and had the same trainer and everything. So I think that's a good comparison. And then Jesuits quarterback for that game was Will Griffin, a class of 2026 player. So still very young in his high school career. By the way, Thurman, 11 rushes, 49 yards and a touchdown, 4 receptions, 17 yards. So Will Griffin, the quarterback, Notre Dame offered him back in October. And we can check out his the clips that I shot of him as well. This is a big dude for a high school sophomore, 6'2.5", 225 pounds. And I mean, he's put up huge numbers this season. It was a loss for his team, of course, but he looked good. I think it was 22 of 34, 259 yards, a couple touchdowns, and he threw a pick. But him pushing the ball downfield looked really good. He has, I mean, it is pretty obvious that he's got some supreme confidence in himself. Like he believes he can make every throw on the field. He likes to ad lib, get outside the pocket, make some throws, for sure. And Jesuit had a pretty small offensive line. So when I'm talking about like Justin Thurman not really be able to get too much done between the tackles, partly but because that Gaither just loaded the box, but also like Jesuit's offensive line, they don't have any like you know I don't want to disrespect the guys, but I don't have like D1 players on that offensive line that I can tell. But yeah, Griffin looked really good. Confidence in his arm, like I said, moves outside the pocket well, fantastic size, and he's just a sophomore. Really good looking prospects. Florida State, Miami, Auburn. I mean, Ohio State, I believe.
Yeah,
He was just
Ohio
at the
State's
Michigan game. I'm sorry, Kyle.
yeah, Ohio State's on him
Yeah.
too.
So he's a big time prospect. And again, he's just a sophomore. If this was senior film, you'd be like, yeah, like he looks the part and everything. And this really is just him as a sophomore. He's impressive. So yeah, that was my trip down to Florida. As you watching this, Kyle, did you have anything you wanted to add?
I really like this quarterback, man. I think he kind of fits the mold for what Notre Dame's looking for in the 26 cycle, getting a guy from a private school down south. Obviously, they got Deuce Knight from Mississippi public school, George County there. But yeah, this is an exciting guy. I'm starting to become invested in the 26 quarterback recruiting because Notre Dame's got their guys in 25, and it's like, dude, like a good portion of that 25 class has come together, and like Notre Dame has
40%?
like, what's
30
that?
It's like 40%, 35% done.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
and we'll see what happens with Ivan Taylor today, but that could give them 10 commits if he
Jeez.
commits. And like, here's the thing: is like they got their targets too, like the rock solid guys, like the guys that have been to the Grill and Chill, the guys that have been to Ohio State and USC games, and like the guys that they're going to visit here within the next month. Like, yeah, there's gonna be some new guys that pop up on the board, but I think behind the scenes, there's a handful of other guys that Notre Dame's starting to feel pretty good about. I know you have a number of predictions in for Notre Dame to land those guys. So, Notre Dame, they're really working ahead. So it's pretty impressive to see.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I look away from chat for 2 minutes. We got somebody saying some things you should not say. Oh, YouTube, you guys never cease to amaze me. Okay, so last thing I want to talk about is of the transfers, Kyle, which of them I already deleted the comment, Kyle. You're not gonna find it.
Yeah.
Ban the guy. I didn't
Yeah.
read it. He just said a word you should not be using on here.
Man, we're crazy. Take it easy in the chat, folks.
Of the transfers out so far, of course, there are going to be more. December 4th, the transfer portal opens for underclassmen. So the Braylon James and Tobias Merriweather declarations were just that. They're not in the portal yet. But yeah, what do you think of the guys who have entered? I think the 7 so far. Which one stings the most to you?
I want you to guess mine because I think it could be pretty obvious.
Braylon?
Yeah, that one stings just because like he never got his opportunity at Notre Dame. Like, and there were plays that I saw him make during practice that were like, Braylon James is going to be a really good football player. He just didn't really put it together enough to see meaningful playing time at Notre Dame. And I know that's a name we had heard like toward the end of the season that probably wasn't looking good for him to return next year, and that was pretty disappointing because he was the highest rated recruit among the wide receivers in Notre Dame's class, and they just never got anything out of him. So,
Braylon?
yeah, in terms of industry ranking. So, believe it or not, Braylon played at those Under Armour All-American game, and that helped skyrocket him up. But Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what he does elsewhere. I mean, he was a guy that prioritized like the academic schools. I know he visited Stanford. TCU was on his list. I think TCU made a late push in the 23 cycle. So yeah, it's just kind of a bummer because like we never saw what he could do. I mean, at least with Tobias, we saw him play a ton, and like I think Tobias is just like a freak of an athlete. But yeah, he's another guy that didn't put it together. So I mean, is that your pick as well, Braylon, coming down from Texas?
I have an honorable mention for Tyree just because I wanted to see him flourish here with another year at receiver. But my pick's actually Tobias. Um,
Hear you,
uh,
man.
what's that?
That's how I hear you.
Yeah. Because like all of them are like, even Tyree, you got your degree, cool. Like Zeke, get your degree, Nana, like cool. Like you got your degree here, you did your time. Like if Notre Dame, I hear a lot from different people like Notre Dame is not the easiest. Like it's not the easiest place. Like you have to go to class. The weather sucks. It is gray a lot. Like outside. So I get it. You put in your time, but it's the underclassmen one for me, and I think that Tobias showed more, obviously, than Braylon. We never saw really Braylon do much. I was never the biggest Braylon James fan. I thought he had huge upside, but I thought the floor was pretty low. And we saw Tobias flash a lot during his career, just could never really put it together. So it's kind of just sad to like for me, disappointing, like when you look at it, college football in general, that I think for a lot of the reasons, like it's not like Notre Dame didn't give Tobias chances. He was the guy. He was getting the most snaps of the receivers early in the season, and he was unreliable. And then he kind of plays less, and still got opportunities though. So it's like, why? If it was a Stucky thing, Stucky's gone, right? If it's a Notre Dame is hard thing, you want to go back home, cool. I mean, I get that, but it kind of is just like disheartening on college football in general. That's kind of how I feel in Tobias as well. It's like, why, bro? Like, why are you leaving? But I don't know, man. I, Took out a lot of opportunities, high ceiling all year. Me and Tim and Goolsby were like, listen, he's like, don't sell your Tobias Merriweather stock just yet, Notre Dame fans. Like this kid can still do it. He's not doing it right now, but we know he can. So, yeah, I'm just a little disappointed, Kyle.
Yeah, and I think Marcus Freeman can sleep at night with the graduate transfers because I mean those guys have paid their dues at Notre Dame's, and you never want to see the guy, the Chris Tyrees of the world leave. But like with the Nana Safamensas and the Aiden K's and um, Zeke Correll's, like those guys, it for some of those guys, it's almost like it's kind of time to get some fresh blood in there, and like something like I remember Marcus Freeman was asked in the spring about the kind of surprise departures of Lorenzo Styles and Logan Diggs, and his biggest thing was like those guys left without getting their Notre Dame degrees, and I think that's the biggest concerning part of the undergrad grad transfer to Notre Dame is they just don't really see it through. I mean, at least those grad guys they put in their time, got their degree, and but just the way, yeah, I mean, I've said it multiple times now, the way things are today, college football. So
This Zach Colson, I don't know if you hang out in our chats much, but this might be one of the most ridiculous things I've ever read in my life. I think Tobias needed to move on. Yes, he has talent, but Notre Dame isn't the place that's going to develop him. What the hell does that mean? What do you mean Notre Dame's not going to develop him? Why not? What are you talking about? You play football, you develop, you get coaching. Like it's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. Notre Dame has receivers go play in the NFL. Like I don't know.
yeah, I mean, the guy's kind of got a point.
How? What's the point?
I mean, they got rid of their wide receivers coach for a reason. So
Yeah, and now bring in a new one.
it, he was getting development, but maybe not the best.
Okay, then they're bringing in a new one, so even better reason to stay. Thank you for proving my point.
Yeah, it'll be curious to see if they get that guy from Washington, Jamarcus Shepard, because I think a lot of people are pointing to Tobias going back home to in-state school, but what if they're
Well,
wide
I
receiver?
hope then Washington goes and hires Chancey Stuckey. That'd be great. How about that? The
Um,
whole thing just frustrates me.
Dude,
Um,
remember what I don't know the exact quote, but Dabo Sweeney praised the heck out of Chancey Stuckey, who played at Clemson before the Clemson game. Like Chancey was pretty well respected. So really weird
I don't
what
know, man. The Chancey Stuckey hate. It's there's just so much of when people leave Notre Dame, it's just like, oh, well, now let's shit on them, like of Notre Dame coaches. Like what? Like it's ridiculous. Every offensive line coach gets dookied on by the media here. It's I don't know. I'm kind of over it,
dude
but
that I will never understand that Harry he's like I know people like have like this issue with Harry that he, doesn't really develop or like, he's overrated, I guess, but like, dude, like he produced like 5 first-round picks that are all pro guys in the NFL and are making like 9 figures. Like, I mean, come on. Find me another offensive line coach in the country that has done what Harry Hiestand did. Like, it's ridiculous. I mean, Zach Martin is going to go down as probably one of the best offensive guards of all time. Like, he was like a 9 or 10-time All Pro guy. Like, nobody has done that. So, I think people just got an axe to grind with. They got to pick someone like Al Washington for last year, for
yeah,
example,
yeah. Look, you guys want
and
our
then they
YouTube chat shit on
180.
Al Washington all the time. That's all you guys wanted to talk about. Al Washington's terrible. Al Washington's terrible. Fire him today. Why is Al Washington still employed by the university? No one, none of you are talking about Al Washington anymore. You know why?
Javante Jean Baptiste. That's
Yeah,
why.
because the guy's not bad at his job. And now it's Jared Parker. Oh, you know what? Last year was also Al Golden. Fire Al Golden. He's terrible. Now you guys are like, build the man a statue. You guys got to calm down. Stop like overreacting to everything. This year it's Jared Parker. Everyone fire Jared Parker. You know what people at Notre Dame? They love Jared Parker. Believe in Jared Parker. Don't think Jared Parker's the problem. So
Fans are going to be fans, Mike. That's what Shannon
and listen,
Terry, our boss, likes to say. Fans are going to be fans.
we have no YouTube show without the fans. We have no message board without the fans. We don't have a job without the fans. But listen, guys, our job is to not report, like we read what the fans like. We want you guys to be more informed fans, and so we try to give you guys the best information and context and stuff from our angle. And yeah, we try to think a little less emotionally. I have sports teams that I follow, and I am also like you guys on fire everyone and clean house all of the time. And that's always not the best action. So there's I tell you guys all the time, I follow my local MLS team, Atlanta United, season ticket holder, and there's a podcaster here, and I send in questions all the time, and he's like, Mike Singer, you're an idiot. He tells me all the time, and I'm like, all right, thank you. I needed to hear that. So there you go. Whew.
I'm
So there
right
you
with
go.
my Browns takes. That's all I'm going to say. No matter what I say about the Browns, I'll be there.
All right. Well, we're gonna end it there. Fun podcast and live show here as always, Kyle. Appreciate you guys watching after I just yelled at you guys. But yeah, don't hate
Please
me.
come back next week.
Yeah, please come back next week.
We'll be here.
So live show lineup. Horka will do a show next week. I don't know when. Horka doesn't really know when he does his shows either. He just kind of flies by the seat of his pants. Wednesday night show with Tim. We'll be back next Friday, December 8th. And yeah, we'll have different videos, I'm sure. I'm guessing we'll probably do like another emergency kind of live show with me and whoever can hop on. We'll probably fit another live show next week.
Wait, can I break some news? You see the Thamel tweet?
Yeah, Drew Pine to the portal. There you go. Always
he?
something. Where's Drew Pine going? We'll let you
Drew
guys talk.
Pine would light up in the MAC. I want to see
Drew
him.
Pine will light up in the MAC. There you go. Folks, we're signing off. Hit that thumbs up, of course. Don't hate us. Come back next week, and we will catch you guys the next time.